call the Board of Works meeting to order. We have a lot on the agenda tonight, more than I think we've ever had at a Board of Works meeting. So if I hurry anyone along, I apologize. But first up is going to be, first we have to have roll call.
Craig Crushaw.
Here.
Bill Carba.
Here.
Ken Meyer.
Here. And Bill and Craig, you emailed a copy of our minutes from our April 16th meeting. If you had a chance to review those minutes, I'd look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes from April 16th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Now, Carrie and Todd. Todd Rohager from AECOM is here. And we have to amend the contract. And Tim, you sent the Exhibit 6A to us to review. And I think Todd says he's got all that implemented into this now, so we should be good to go. We're correct, Carrie?
On my end, yes.
Tim, any comments, questions?
No. I think Todd, I communicated to Todd two things. One was just wanted to make clear that what this does is basically put AECOM on a standby or on-call status, so that if things come up in the next year that Carrie or Don feels is appropriate to bring AECOM in to provide services within the scope that's attached as Exhibit 6A, that they're prepared to do so. And it also then identifies a not-to-exceed figure for those services during that period. It's entirely up to the city then to decide if and when AECOM would be used, and nothing in the agreement prevents the city from using other engineering services if that were deemed appropriate by the city.
Correct. With that, Bill or Craig, I'd look for a motion to approve the amendment to the contract.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second for approval of the amendment of the AECOM contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Todd, how you been?
I've been very well. How you guys been?
I've been good. I talked to, did I talk to you today?
Yep.
Yeah, I did.
This morning.
I can't even remember who I talked to, and I told him that we have a long agenda and that we're going to rush everyone through tonight. So no, I appreciate you driving all the way up here for that. It feels like...
No problem at all. My father came up with me. I'm going to take him for some onion rings now.
There you go. Gee, where are you going to get those at, I wonder? But I know where. All right, well, good. Go enjoy them.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys very much.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. Carrie, you sit right tight there. We need now to approve 2 pumps that you want to purchase using the guaranteed savings money from the clarifier project, and those are both from Kokosing, which was the company that did both of those. One is the sludge pump, and the other is the drainage pump, correct? One of them, the price, the sludge pump is $44,023 even, 0 cents. And then the drainage pump is $32,200. And Carrie, what can you say about them? Anything we need to know?
The sludge pump is from 1983. The drainage pump is from 1958.
Oh, wow.
We're, I guess, feeling like we're on borrowed time, and these are the 2 items that we're bringing before you today, just because they have such a long lead time of 8 to 10 weeks. Then there's other items that looks to be that we have enough money with the guaranteed savings contract to complete as well, but those are much shorter lead time, so they'll be brought up at a later date. But everything on the wish list looks to be able to, we should be able to complete it at no extra complication.
So these have an 8 to 10 week lead time, both of them.
Better get them.
Yep.
Yeah. Make a motion that we purchase those pumps. I'll second
I
that.
have a motion and a second for Carrie to move forward with purchasing the 2 pumps at the waste treatment plant. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Next thing is the water main extensions at High Street and at 600 North?
600 North, yes.
Yep, and I think we got, we've had those for a couple of meetings now.
Yeah.
You've reviewed them, and those are the two that we want to do with Watson.
Correct.
Yep. And any comments?
Not really. There was a little bit on those two projects.
And we're going to talk about the Homestead Edition a little later, but for now, this is just to approve the contract with Watson, which was a lower. Do you remember when we opened the bids? Fleming was low on
These were the good enough. Need them. This is 600.
okay, 600 North was, for the record,
What was it called?
$284,025.
Amendment.
600 North was $284,025, and High Street was $521,900.
So here's the contract. They made 3 copies, so we'll need you to sign all
In the
those.
booklet?
But I think, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to do it later, I think it's just you, Ken.
Ken, what was
I have
the,
it here.
what's the price on 600 North?
$284,025.
It's just you, so we can do it later.
Any discussion on moving forward with water mains?
Okay,
I know the High Street really needs it.
521.9 and 280. We have 2,600. It's water from the plant.
Took the same contract. This is on Watson. It's with Watson. Contracts are ready to be signed and notices.
Those two projects, we paid out of the water bond, which is a 2018 bond.
Okay.
So we need a motion or something?
Yeah.
Motion to approve the contracts and notice to proceed.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second to approve the contract to proceed with the water main extensions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Leonard. Got an update on the police situation. We're going to lose one. We got Mike Mahan retiring, and he's counting down the hours today officially. We have the replacement for Officer Mahan, and then Lenny has some report on, without saying the name, of who we're looking at for the next replacement. So go ahead. This is a letter from Charles Goad recommending Staff Sergeant Andrew Ewell, or how you say it, Ewell?
I always said Elwell.
Elwell?
You never corrected me, so.
Elwell, yeah, I guess it is Elwell. It's from the Air International Guard. Lenny, go ahead.
This gentleman expressed interest into lateral North department. He comes with impeccable background, and we met with the mayor about a week and a half ago, and we ended up offering the job, and he said he would accept. And I'm here to get Board of Works approval to, well, I guess I already received it, but just to let you know that he will be starting June the 17th. He's already been to the academy. He's already been PERF certified. Phyllis and her staff have requested those records. I haven't heard any negativity or anything to hold us back on. But this gentleman is 24 years old. He's from Wells County. His wife is Emma. She's a nurse who's going to try to get a job there at Adams Memorial Hospital. They're going to move here. They got a 2-month-old son. He joined the Air Force in 2014, which he's still kind of active on weekends. Did a couple of stints in Kuwait, and his law enforcement experience, he was a Wells County jail officer, which 9 of the 19 of our department started out as jailers, including myself, and then he was hired by Montpelier PD in 2018, and went to the academy and graduated October of 2018. So very good young man here. I think he'd be a good fit. He likes our department based on our Facebook, on our equipment upgrade, and also a younger level officers around his age, so he's really looking forward to that.
Andrew?
When's he going to start?
He's going to start June 17th. I think Mike's last day is June 15th or something like that. 14th.
Yes.
So,
We need a motion to approve?
I don't think so. I think I just wanted Lenny to report this tonight, just as a matter of record. So for the minutes, there you have it. Thank you, Lenny.
And also,
Yeah.
as you know, we're losing an officer to Fort Wayne.
Yep.
His last day will be June 1st, the Officer Joe Jackson. So that's our fourth one in about 2.5 years. So just want to make you aware of that. So.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. And fortunately, through the applications, physical testing, lie detector, written testing, interview process, you have someone ready to go,
Correct.
ready to accept that as soon as we can do some more interviewing with him and
We'll set a date, and then I talked to him today. He's extremely excited. He's happy, so we just have to...
the only bad news with that one is that we got to send him to the academy.
Correct.
All right, thanks, Lenny.
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Yes.
The contract for the irrigation at Hannah Nutman, that company was, what was the name of that company? Cloudburst, that's right. And it was like 38,000 something?
The budgeted amount.
37,800. We opened that bid at the last meeting we had. There were a couple of them that quoted 2 or 3. That was the low, 37,800. And you've taken it under advisement and?
Everything appears to be in order. Recommend taking that one. We set aside $45,000 for that, so we're in pretty good shape on that portion of the project.
Okay. Just real quick on Hannah Nutman, I'm sure Craig's seen it driving home, but I don't think there's any trees left out there that are of any size. Any of them?
There's some trunks left that would have left up, so we can dig them out, so we have something to grab hold of and dig them out.
Yeah.
So if it dries up just a little bit more, you're going to see a lot more out there.
There were 2 or 3 that were on the Little League grounds that were in memory of individuals, and I don't know, I'm not sure how you did it, but you dug them up and you moved them over and closer to that island between the Boy Scout and Girl Scout cabin and that little island,
Yes.
and have them planted there for now.
Yes, there was a Barney Schultz memorial tree that the league planted. There was, I don't remember her name, she worked at the license branch and was killed
Yeah.
10 years ago on
Yeah.
24.
I know who you mean. I can't say her name either.
Memorial tree for her, and we can't seem to find a plaque for the other one, but we do remember it was a memorial tree. I got with Harlow out of Fort Wayne. They got me in contact with Bond, or Bond, I think it was. And he actually came down and stayed in all 3 of them and moved them. They seem to be doing well.
Yeah.
I went out and talked to John Heller at the same time. I've never saw a bill from John, but John was supposed to go out and deep root fertilizer, which was a requirement. The park board took on that fee, and I think it was $200 a tree to have it moved.
And then there's a 4th tree that was for Brittany Raymond, and it's to the south of Myber Street, between Myber Street and hole number 2 on the golf course, and that'll stay right there.
It's protected. I really don't want to move that one.
Yeah.
Since the family planted it.
Yep.
Unless it becomes an issue, but I don't see in a plan where it's going to become an issue.
Yep. But other than those 4 trees, it's pretty clear out there.
There was 12 large trees and then a whole bunch of smaller ones.
Phil Teamy did it. He worked till sun up to sundown out there. So,
On a few of those, the bigger ones, obviously, there were some safety concerns with us doing them alone, with the high tension lines going through there. So Bill treated us right, coming out and helping. I gave him 2 or 3 guys, and he supplied one person to help take them down. So.
and you said the big logs are going to go for pallet wood to somebody?
Yeah, the same individual that did the cleanup at the Cottonwood Trailer Park stopped and asked about it. You know, it's either we pay to have it ground up next year when the mulch will come, or we just let it take it. So,
See ya.
he's going to be able to send mine just look what we get out there. It's cottonwood, it's really, it's not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Take them up to the Amish on Cuban Avenue.
Cottonwood's only
Yeah.
burn out.
They can use it.
That give you a nice pop
So not
campfire,
to
huh?
make use of it.
Yeah, set them up there. Sell them.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy.
No.
motion on that.
We'll need a motion to accept the...
Motion to accept the contract for irrigation cloudburst, $37,800. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I got down here, just to mention this basically, and Les, you can, where's Les? Yeah, the water ball court at Hannah Nutman is a fire. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, yeah. Kind of runs north and south. Just a couple of, looks like swing set contraptions with a cable between them. That's going to get taken down, and Les is looking at some options for where to locate it. I saw your email. One of them, if we have to talk to Rod Rinkenberger, but out at Evergreen on the already blacktopped area that's there would be a great, we're not sure we can do that, but if we can, then that would be a good place to stick it. So, and more to follow on that, but.
And we don't use it like, the whole idea of playing competitive waterfall is probably not, it's really just a training, amusement training, so I'd like to relocate it somewhere that just needs to be on a hard surface, so we'll look for some options.
That was one option, and where was the other one? It was,
Street.
well, no, there was somewhere else too, wasn't there, where there was already a...
Well, this morning I mentioned
Meadow Lane was the other one, yeah.
I drove out there and that,
Not so good?
now, it's in a hole. So
Okay.
water would run out.
Okay.
So, but I'll work with Bill and Jeremy.
Okay.
We need a good, fairly decent water supply in that facility.
Yep, once we get things settled, I probably talked to Rod Thursday. I think he's coming down, so he'll be able to tell us that, and if so, yep, I will. Yep.
Les, how about over there by the old police station, the old police garage, where we took that shed down that the water department had? It kind of runs right along the small street there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know where the Quonset hut is, that I parked the golf cart?
Oh,
Just south of that, there's a whole slab there, that there was a
by the
building there at
police
one
station.
time.
Behind the old police station, between
Right.
that and the building, yeah.
Right. There's an old,
Yeah, I can go
I don't know how level that is, but
That might be an option.
well, there was a building there, and it's, of course, we took it down, right, Jeremy did.
Looking for a space about 160 feet by 40.
Now you can look at
yeah.
that.
Put a couple acres down, so without a whole lot of space.
Yep. Thanks, Les. Okay. Jeremy, back up. And Kevin. Maybe Bill even, I'm not sure. Homestead Water Main Extension.
The Homestead Water Main Extension was in the package that was bid for Watson and Fleming, which, due to financial constraints, it's not going to be doable in the bond funding that we have. We've looked at a couple different options. Homestead is a real high overhead for us. We have tremendous amount of leaks out there at different times. But water pressure is general bad. I went ahead and I looked back over the plans that Watson and Fleming received from Midwestern. And the budget numbers that I'm coming back with is just shy of $90,000. If over time at some point we have to go in and start replacing some of those bad stretches along the whole thing over time. Ideally, it would be nice to get in a few runs, especially the north and the south end, so when Watson comes through, they can actually tie in the new lines, and we're not digging back up on High Street again. You know, we get pipe out to them, and they can make the taps as they go by. It's a little additional cost, but it saves a lot of headaches, you know, while it is dug up. They're going to have to pick it up regardless and hook up pipe in that addition, whether it's the old pipe or not new pipe. So we just kind of wanted to report that we did look at some options. Memory serves me right, I think Phil says the estimate there.
From Ferguson?
It was like $577,000, I believe. So there's a substantial savings if we get a little creative over time and start getting some of that old pipe knocked out. In the plan, when it was put out for bid, and even the current plan, is once that is replaced, to get that pipe on the park side, which would be the inside of the park, so where all you're running across the street and digging up the street is for water services that go across to the homes. I've talked to the park board the last couple of years, and I just kind of want to throw this out as an idea. When we do the restoration, and just kind of think about it, and, you know, Tyler being influenced on this, being that that's his district and where he lives, we've been throwing around an idea of, when we do the restoration, possibly just put in like a walking path or something around the inside of that park on top of that water main.
While it's tore up, it's
While
just,
it's tore up, we have to do restoration work. So it's either we're going to haul dirt in there and level it out, or, you know, we can haul some stone in there and get it leveled out and get it nice to where it gives them a nice place to walk on the inside instead of walking out into the street. So it's just a thought that I had. You know, we're always looking at different trails, different walkway ideas and stuff. And they do get a lot of foot traffic out through there.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty narrow road, too. If you got somebody walking, it can sneak up on you out there, too.
That addition will need some other improvements. You know, long-term, Kevin and I have talked about the storm sewer, and the storm sewer has some problems, the sanitary has some problems, but I think right now the biggest challenge that we have is stormwater. So just wanted to report that to you, that, you know, we are looking at some options. It would be an option over time to, you know, buy some pipe as we go and we have time. And being that you're putting it on the inside, there's really nothing to dig around, so you could actually lay some pipe pretty quick down through there. You know, even if we could only get a little bit in each year, you know, it's more pipe than what we're putting in the ground out there right now.
I like the idea. What you said there about the north and south end, so that you can tie it in over to High Street, is that something you'd kind of like to work on?
We could do that in the short term, and we could actually do that, depending on what Watson's schedule is, at least get it stubbed out, so we have something to build off of once it's tested. You know, once we get that off of High Street, you know, you can stub them up into the addition.
Do you have any idea on Watson when they're going to do High Street?
I've never talked to Watson. Kevin's been talking.
Preliminary talks, 60 to 90 days to get going, but we'll see how that works.
Okay.
We'll have a pre-construction meeting after this contract signed, and we'll get everything set up.
Okay.
You know, we'd really like to continue to work with that, because in the next roll, or the next round for community crossings was paving High Street and part of Homestead and stuff like that.
So once we do that Homestead, every time we make a cut across, we're messing with the street. So once we start out there, it'd kind of be nice to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can, so that Tyler don't have all the neighbors complaining about all the...
They're already complaining about all the potholes.
Well, and the way that addition is designed anyhow with the street inverted.
Yeah, it's inverted, it's not...
You're never going to keep asphalt on it without going in and fixing this stuff correctly and getting a storm sewer put in, you know, as we go. You know, sure, we'd like to go out and hire a contractor to do every bit of work that we have, but, you know, our user rates just can't handle that. You know, so sometimes you just got to get a little creative and work together sometimes.
Okay. So, okay, so you're just reporting on that, or not asking them to do anything tonight?
Not at this point, though.
Okay. Good deal, thanks. What we got?
You guys will just stay in communication, and when they come through, you'll have the stubs ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Contract to approve.
Hey, Jeremy? Jeremy, you know, I did have it on here. We also need to approve Fleming's contract for the excavating. So,
Just need area.
Phyllis,
Let me see a copy of that here, so I can get the numbers in front of me here. You
Thank you.
remember right at our original, or our meeting 3 weeks ago, we opened up bids for the Hannah Nutman earthwork and earthwork and utilities. It's come in over budget or over what we anticipated. Meeting with Greg Fleming, Doug Bergdahl, Donnie went along with me, and we had a nice little meeting with them and just kind of discussed some options. And did what we call value engineering. Value engineering actually, it gains you some benefits as long as the contractor and everybody is on board with what you're doing. We were able to reduce the bid. The original bid was
$53,635.17.
We were able to reduce that amount to $525,382.12, which is about $258,000. We're actually, by doing this, we're getting some additional work done that my crew was ended up doing with some of the stone and the parking lot.
208.12.
Greg was real open-minded with what we needed to do. We're going to supply this, instead of purchasing stone, we're going to supply the stone out of our crushed concrete pile that we just crushed a few months ago, which ended up being a substantial savings just in trucking below. So what I would recommend tonight is we sign a contract with Fleming Excavating for $525,382.12.
382?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Billy.
Without going into the final details.
Wrote down all his numbers and blew it there.
525-3812.
382.12. And that's for Hannah Nutman then?
Yeah, which our original goal and our estimate for the earthwork detail was like 477 and some change. We're actually getting more.
Is he gonna put the parking lots in for you?
525. He's going to put them in.
But you're buying the, or you're taking care of crushing the stone and he's gonna deliver it?
We're riding the stone, we're loading the stone in his trucks. He is trucking it, they are placing it and grading it.
And compacting it? Okay.
And add a few extra little things here and there, which is going to work out to our advantage.
A lot of tons, huh?
That's 7,300 ton.
Okay.
That's on that project.
That's pretty good savings.
Stay right here.
So,
You need a motion to, accept the value engineering from our team and Fleming Excavating on the Hannah Nutman project. Second.
Motion and a second to accept Fleming's quote on the excavation. All in favor?
Aye.
And utilities. And opposed? Thank you. Quotes for the restrooms, concessions at Hannah Nutman. Do you have bids to open?
on these quotes, we basically took Kendallville's design and basically modeled it off of what we did, really not knowing exactly what kind of dollar amount we were going to get into. After talking with a few subs that have called with some questions, I have a real good feeling that we're going to be able to budget. So tonight I would just kind of like to open them up.
Yeah, I think what
Kind
you...
of look at what they are and then possibly go back and kind of relook at some things.
Respect the specs.
Yeah.
We may even change the size of it a little, if need be.
I'd like to sit down and talk about some more of the plumbing and electrical and possibly some size. If we can't reduce it much, obviously we're going to have to probably wait a little bit or hopefully get some more donations and or budget accordingly and wait till early 20 to get the restrooms built.
Tim, you want to read this?
Yep. We advertised or requested quotes, sealed quotes from at least 3 contractors to perform that service. We received 2 quotes. First, it's open, is submitted by Limberlost Construction out of Geneva, Indiana. The base bid is $241,950, 241,950. Voluntary alternate, deduct $5,000 if lighting substitute is acceptable.
If what?
If a lighting substitute is acceptable.
There's a lot of
Second is submitted by Campman's Renovations out of Decatur. Provide, the quote is for $201,201,000.
According to the state statute, we're over the $150,000 mark. So
Requires it to be by sealed bid.
So, what was our estimate, 150 or 125?
127 something is what they told us that they had in the ones in Kendallville. So,
Without changing the size, Tyler, is there any, there's not that much fat in this thing,
No, I took almost every fat out of what,
what you could.
just to give the city a reasonable price.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they ever got them close to being at 123. There's no way.
I don't either. The more and more calls I had from different subs, I looked at the press a little deeper, thinking that there's no way. So, that, you know, our options are is to either redesign it a little bit, and see where the savings is, or
Pretty big donation.
or we plan on budgeting accordingly.
You called it, Tim.
When we were talking about this earlier, I just knew what South Adams ran into with putting up a concession stand restroom and a speaker area up above.
Press box.
Press box, thank you. And I think their quote was 270, 280,000, somewhere in that
Yeah, I've
range.
heard some real horror stories since this has been out for about a month or so. I gave everybody a lot of extra time. But I've heard some real horror stories.
Everybody's busy right now, so the
Yep.
market is just...
Yep.
So would in the fall, would that be a better time to put this back out?
Well, I mean, guys are bidding us to do it in the fall, basically.
Okay.
When this is going to be ready. It's just my experience in the field. I've never seen times like this. I mean, it's
So busy.
so busy that you're going to pay...
I agree.
You're going to pay double than what you normally would pay because there's not enough trades out there. So if high school kids are listening, you can make a lot more money in the trade system than you can going to school right now because it's going to turn around where you have to pay whatever the trade person says you have to pay because there's not enough. Now, 2 years from now, the bubble will burst again and you'll be right back in the same boat. That's where it's at.
So we want a motion to take these under advisement.
You can take them under advisement, but I think realistically, unless there's some
Let's reject
significant savings, you're going to have to reject them.
Okay.
My recommendation...
Just to reject them?
Let's go back and...
Revisit the whole plan.
Revisit the size, and if we see that reduction of size isn't going to be feasible, then we'll just have to look at funding
Okay.
forward. It's not something that we have to build right away. You know, we're going to need them, but, you know, we can do some other things while we're figuring.
Would you remind me, where did the estimates come from? How did we come up with those estimates?
Kendallville.
Oh, using their...
The exact same
It
building.
came directly from their contractor. Their contractor was invited to bid. There was like 5 different contractors that I invited to bid.
Okay.
If it tells you what the market is, we only had 2.
When was that?
A month ago.
A month ago, and he came in with...
1st of April is when...
He didn't bid it.
When everything was set up.
He didn't.
When were those bids originally set up then?
At Kendallville?
Yeah.
They constructed them in 18.
So probably 17.
I think one was built in 17 and one in 18.
Okay, so those, well over almost 2 years.
Yeah, but
And you
Is
still
what it
take
is.
in some inflation into that, but I don't think the inflation was
Somewhere along the line, they got a
$75,000.
donation on that project.
well, they got a lot of donations on their project. But-
Maybe the trades donated and that made that number down.
Yeah.
There's no way that they built it for that.
They actually gave us the bid tabs and everything on it, and I kept going back through and it's like, there was some money put someplace for...
Yeah. I would have looked at it for 122.
We would love for you too also. Okay, motion to reject the bids.
Second.
A motion and a second to reject the bids, and then, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Jeremy, we'll talk.
We're looking into it a
Yep.
little deeper.
Yep,
We
thank you.
even talked about going to Kimballville this week.
I think it's a good idea. You and Kurt and a few others were talking about running up there, get with Brett Sloan, the guy that runs the park, and yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Figure out what we can live without, or
Yep.
if we can't live without it, we're just...
Well, they may have had their big foundation contributing to that too.
They did.
They did.
But nonetheless, this is what they said that it cost them. You know, they gave us their whole breakdown.
Right.
We actually had the bid documents, copies of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
There had to be donations prior to that.
I can tell you
Not
the
shown in that bid document.
South Adams ended up having a price that was probably $100,000 or more above what they were expecting. And I think it's the same situation that Tyler described.
Just
It. Right
once.
now, everybody's busy.
Irrigation came in under us and said, just once, I'd like to have an actual bid come in
We're
for
working on it. We're working on
just
it.
once.
We had this on the plaza.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Said
This is not unique to Decatur. You go statewide and
Yep.
everybody's running into this.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. Next thing up.
Well, if you want Jeremy to stay here, so I have to get up again. Do you want to do your sewer bid?
Quote for sewer work, yeah. No, I think it's fun to have Jeremy run back and forth. Jeremy quotes, Jeremy sent, I think I forwarded this email out to the Board of Works today. There were 3 areas, and I'm not sure if this is for all 3 of it, just for 2 of them, just one. This is, which one? The alley or one of the alleys or the street area?
give me a second, I'll bring it up on the screen.
What we ran into on this stretch in this back alley is when this sewer was put in many, many years ago, they actually put the taps in, or the house taps in as they put the line in. Well, way back when, they never had the GPS and the GIS and everything else, so they would put the taps in where they assumed was the location that would be used.
What's the 2 streets on the left and right, 5th and 6th?
10th
10th and 11th, okay, that alley.
And what really ended up happening is that when they would build the homes, they would not go back and find the taps that was put in at construction. So all these dots here that you see are house taps. In some of these back alleys, we're finding like 3 times the amount of taps that are there on homes.
11 homes on that run, there's 26 taps.
So,
This is on the alley that runs between 10th and 11th.
Huffman lived, Bob Huffman, they're at 10th and Jefferson.
Everything I've
It'd be
been,
right behind his.
Between Adams and Madison.
everything I've been through, you'll find a factory tap 2 feet away, you'll find where they broke into the main and put the house on. They had no idea where these taps were.
So at the south end of this is Adams Street, and at the north end of it is Madison. That's a long, because you have Jefferson goes one way, so it's really like 2 blocks if you look at it.
100 foot of pipe.
And what you're
How
finding
many?
is when they put those taps in, they would take wood to seal off those taps.
Plugs.
Well, what's wood do over
Wood
here,
plug.
over time.
Yeah.
When we're cameraing these, we're looking into taps and stuff, and these taps are open or half open, or some of them's completely open. So it's essentially draining a lot of these backyards. The pipes are in pretty bad shape. They're coming apart, they're full of crap, literally. Some of these lines were taking a whole day jetting and cleaning and still not quite getting them all done. Some of them were lucky to get them done in 8 hours. Other days were coming back the next morning.
A lot of roots in there too, Don?
This
So-
was the line today.
What we're proposing is we're not sure where we're going to be on this first stretch on cost. We've been communicating back and forth pretty intensely with Kevin to make sure that Kevin and Carrie is aware of, what we're looking at, what we're finding. So tonight we'd like to open up this 600-foot stretch, quotes on it. Let's do one of these and see
This line's
You know
about
what
6.5
we-
foot deep.
where we're at. If
What is
we're
it,
still
12
in
inch?
budget, if we're going to run into a lot of other unforeseen things and start attacking them that way.
Does this mean that there could be other locations like this across the city?
There is.
Well, yeah, Don, that's what Don's been out there.
That's what I'm finding everywhere I run.
That they just,
This particular line had a lot of separation between joints and a lot of voids back in there where all this groundwater's coming in. I'm finding lines that are fine. We're not, this is one of the worst ones. There's going to be about 3 alleys that we're going to deal with. The way it looks. So,
If you say a lot of the yards are draining into this, when we fix this, are those people going to have any problem with their yards, you think?
What we're looking at doing is after this is done, is we go back and evaluate them where we have issues, and then we can run some shallow storm.
Tile.
kind of like I did down on Shermeyer.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on top of this, but either on the side or on the edge of the alley to drain some of these, because if you don't give them a place to go,
Right.
and their yards start to fill up, they're going to get creative, and we're going to end up with it back in the sanitary dam.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of these over the years working with Berman, and you don't have to be very deep. You're not picking up a basement. You know, you can run 30, 36 inches, maybe a little deeper depending on what you have to work with, and throw some yard drains off or throw some catch basins off on both sides of the alley, and give the homeowner a place to drain.
And our main storm sewer line is on Madison, so we have a line that runs in that general area. It's not like we gotta go...
East and west?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like we gotta go real far to get that. We deal with that after the fact. Those yards aren't supposed to be draining in the sanitary sewer anyway. That's why we're having to build a tank.
We're smoking.
Does that go all the way to Madison to the north?
Yeah, it stops just short.
Okay.
We're smoking a lot of these areas and finding out that a lot of those factory taps are really what's smoking where the wood's rotted off and it's coming up through the ground. So
The blue that you see there is what we've cleaned and cambered. The red circles are manholes we found that were buried under the asphalt, or brick, that we didn't know existed.
Funny story, real quick. Where you at on, right here on 10th Street?
That's the alley.
Okay.
To the right, right there.
Okay, over here on 10th Street. Who would have guessed when that brick road was put in there? Anybody? Anybody?
1850.
Sewer was in there before the brick road.
Oh, well.
Because when we cambered it,
He called Tony, he goes, "It ain't on
I
there."
told him, I said, your locator's off. He goes, no, it's not, it's off. We were out there, pulled the asphalt up, no structure, no manhole. I wasn't really thrilled at 8 o'clock in the morning to be tearing brick up and digging down into the street. Guess what was on top of that structure? The original brick street that they laid by hand years ago.
Really? It was there. I knew it was there. But
So that line has been there a long time.
yeah.
And a lot of these lines have been there that long. You know, we had to raise that manhole up 16 inches to get it up to the height of the asphalt.
So the original street was that much lower? Is that what you're
The
saying?
original street.
The original street.
Yeah,
Well,
there,
when they went in and bulldozed off or shoveled off to start laying the brick,
And when it was dirt roads or
Yeah.
stone roads, it was down there that far. That line's old. And that line, after it was cleaned, is
pretty good shape.
When you do this project, are you going to try to give the property owners a heads up that they may see water in their yards and that the city will address
What I'm
that?
going to actually do, Tim, is go through and dye test every house to make sure I've got the tap that they are using covered, that we hook that tap and that tap only back up for them.
Yeah.
And at that time, I will address the fact that now there's possibilities you're going to have some issues. You know, if you know you're hooked into both taps, I mean, you see that a lot too, where they're using both taps. But when there's 26 taps in 11 homes, that's a problem.
You know, and another one I put in the email that I sent out to you guys is, I don't know if you guys are aware, where Rita Swigert has her apartment there on 5th Street. That's another really, really bad one.
Between Jefferson and Madison.
Right.
Kind of did some emergency work to it a couple weeks ago to get them open back up. When I sent the email and talked to Tim, we wasn't 100% sure that we were going to be able to get it open. But we've got it open and got it somewhat working, but it is on probably the immediate radar here of getting hood stick and tap replaced.
It's got to get filled up
Really
again.
don't have
Next,
problems.
next one I'm going to get pricing on, and just knew we had a lot going tonight. Try to get it all working.
But like I said, we want to start out with the first one.
That's on Fifth Street.
Do you have a price on this?
That's an alley between 5th and 6th,
The one you want to fix?
Yeah.
No, we got
running
quotes.
north out of
Oh,
Jefferson.
somebody's already turned in bids? Okay.
Three.
Yes, we have three sealed quotes.
Okay.
We have no idea what the numbers are going to be.
3 sealed quotes for the alley back over there between 10th and 11th. Yeah, for
We have
600
no
feet.
idea what the numbers are going to be, so I
Just this right here.
requested 3 to make sure that we
That's for this yellow line only. That one.
You said 600.
600, 3 manholes.
Okay, the first quote submitted is submitted by Brent Luganbill out of Bern. Quote is $29,760, 29760. That's with the city supplying all stone and materials, extra if I supply materials of $16,745.
they all ask for an alternate, so we gave them the option of fixing it right.
We can save a lot if we supply the pipe. That particular job, we've got the pipe in stock.
Okay. So we need to put that down then? Or just you're going to supply the pipe to all 3 bidders, you don't know?
And see what they quoted.
Okay.
Try to figure out what works out the best. Like I say, we stock that material under the structures.
The second quote is submitted by Burkott Inc. out of Fort Wayne. Base bid, $87,211. Add $8,610 for Burkott to provide supplies. Add to saw cut the alley another $38.75, and deduct to all spoils to the city of Decatur dump site of $89.94.
I think that what we're going to find here with these quotes is that a one-man, small operation without a lot of overhead is going to be a lot cheaper.
And that's what can do these jobs easier.
And it also goes back to what Tyler was just saying, what the market is right now.
Third quote is submitted by Fleming Excavating, Inc. Base bid is $78,169, 78169. And if he provides materials, another $7,854. Alternate cost to cut saw cut alley, $3,600. If the city provides a dump site, deduct $68.40.
Jeremy, do you even need to take these under advisement?
Now, let it give us the authorization to review them
And proceed and award?
for an example, if we would buy the 600 pipe, our cost is only $19.50.
That's a really good price from
Yeah.
Brett.
I'll make a motion that we let Jeremy sign for the bid. If I'd be able to get a couple of them done this year.
A motion and a second for Jeremy to review these, and if so,
Review and award.
seem responsible to award it. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Can I
That will be paid on the
show
bond.
one?
Yep. Look at there,
This
guys.
is just one line on Jefferson that I'm dealing with.
Brick.
This is the 8th and Jefferson.
Oh, my gosh.
So you're going to see a huge void where it goes from clay to brick.
Oh.
This is why what we're doing is going to make a difference. The amount of, it's just crazy what,
Look at that seepage.
yeah, that's just one spot. So,
And we used last week's weather to our advantage. There was a few days that we were out there physically in the rain to be able to see exactly what was going on, you know, in the sewers where it was coming in at. We're actually finding water main leaks and service leaks also, which is a plus. Fire hydrants
So you guys got an idea what we're doing. I know we're short tonight, so.
We're ahead of schedule, we're good.
But you can see the amount of, once I, let me move it ahead just a little bit. You'll see the amount of water coming in around.
The pipes?
That's a good flow there.
That's in the main line, that's normal, but you'll see, let me bump you up to here. You'll see water coming in under the
that.
pipes.
Yeah.
See it?
Yep.
That's coming, that's all groundwater coming in.
So if that gives you an idea of your wet springs, winter.
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
This is the sewer? Yeah, this sanitary sewer, I don't know how some of that stuff keeps carrying. Was it even raining when you did?
Wasn't raining.
Huh. Has it rained any the last month?
It wasn't raining when we did that video, but
But that's a common picture right there that you're seeing where we come up and the manhole is not visible
that was a very rain.
from the street.
Because it's been
And
paved over.
Yeah, and you look up and it's there, so we've been digging those up as we go for inspection.
There's an actual song on the end of the camera. We can go out with our locator that we've had for years and find it, tell how deep it is, where it's at. It works real good. Hannah Nutman, we were as deep as 19 and a half feet still to make it.
Is there any legitimate reason why they would have paved over that?
It's hard to say.
I mean-
Different paving companies over the years.
Right.
so.
Paving operator, it's easier to pave around, over than around it.
Geez, Wiley, everybody does that.
In their defense, some of them were paving over them with the agreement. Somebody would come back and raise them.
Oh, yeah. As soon as the paver goes, they're supposed to take shell and cut it out and wedge it back. Oh, forgot.
These are holes in the...
They knew we were coming along, they're just leaving it for us.
In the main
You gotta get between the paver and the roller.
So, that's the collapsed cap that had fallen completely down. There's still water coming out of it. I don't know if it's active or not, but it had collapsed completely. But yeah, it's just in bad shape.
So
That
it leaves
one's
us cleaning it all up.
That's coming up as to needing, yeah, you see the condition of pipes in the cracks, separation. That's our main line down Jefferson.
Is that tile, clay?
It's clay, that's
Yeah.
pipe. So we're looking at probably going to be replacing from 8 to 10 on that 18-inch line and redoing that void you just seen, shuffling some manholes, doing away with probably 3 manholes and replacing it with 2 new ones, cleaning it all up, sealing it back up.
I think the
We got
camera's...
more.
And it's the clay is the worst, I mean,
The clay
the,
is worse. The bricks seem to be, it'll last another 100 years, no problem.
and that's something.
And how many of these projects have we done over the last 20 or 30 years, and these things have never been discovered?
Why hasn't this been...
We didn't have a camera.
Glad we got a camera.
I know, that's what I mean.
Gonna pay for itself pretty quick.
Well, and Don and, I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but I know Don and Berlin and Carrie's been spending some time with AECom also kind of reviewing some of the stuff. And from what I'm getting from them, AECom seems like they're pretty
Even your lines look...
okay,
down.
and, you know, they're pretty happy with what we're finding and such at this point.
Well, I would hope so.
You know, it's all been good information. AECom is coming into the game. They don't have a lot of background on it, so any information we can give them is going to be helpful also.
Sure. It's good information.
Monitoring system, they still doing the monitoring for us, Carrie?
We're not doing anything right now.
Not yet? Yeah, wait till we get a lot of this stuff cleaned up and then come back in and monitor.
We were talking, what, this late fall, spring? Get them in before, definitely for the rainy season next spring.
That's a good rainy season so far.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good rainy season, but
Right.
like Jeremy said, it's not fun, but go out in the rain, that's when you see the biggest problems.
Impacts?
Taps that are literally boiling up, you know, that you just kind of look at it and you go,
Do you need a new rain slicker?
We bought it.
What'd you, a rain what? What'd you
what is that, Wiley?
You know, long term, Kevin and I and Don has talked, you know, as we progress into this. Right now, we have a back truck rented.
Yeah, you know, like I said, here's
The jetting and the
before,
cleaning. We're probably going to have to look
there's
at
after.
Wow,
Well,
we're probably going to have to look at long term of possibly getting a good use.
is that,
That's our jetter actually going down the pipe. Cleaning.
isn't that something?
You know what? I know a guy that sold those for 25 years. I'll talk to him and see what he would suggest.
And there's actually, we do have an outlet out of the city of Fort Wayne.
Okay.
They rotate theirs.
They rotate them every 5 years.
Do you know what brands they use?
Aquatech, and I believe they're just Aquatechs. But anyway, they're saying that if you're going to get a good used machine, something that you're going to use, that we need to be talking with Larry Campbell and from the city of Fort Wayne, and normally they trade it back with brown equipment.
I could talk to
They're less
Larry.
than half the cost of a new one. Everybody would like to have a new one, but as long as we would get, good used one, we're going to need it for this, and then also, for digging, little things.
That's the alley between 5th and 6th. That was plugged completely.
There's so many fiber optics and stuff in the ground right now, it's almost impossible in some of these places to dig. With this, you can actually hydro back a hole where you can crawl down in the hole, reach down in the hole, and make the repairs.
That particular one appears somebody dug through an excavator one time. They poured a concrete cap over it, and then the sides had given away. Now that line was about a day and a half we spent
Look at that.
trying to clean it.
All day on Friday, and then he came back. He came back Saturday morning and looked at it, and then back at it on Monday.
Each clay tile was, what, 3 feet, 4 feet?
Yeah, about 3.
So what do you do, clean that camera off when you get
You don't want to know. We have a wash down system on the truck. It comes out.
You don't want me chewing on your fingernails.
You need a sandwich.
You don't want to hang out with me for the day. There's that back.
Don't shake hands with Donnie when he's working on truck.
Yeah. Well, I put rubber gloves on. I got my rubber gloves on, don't shake my hand. That's the truck we have leased right now, and it's working very well. Very well.
To stay, last thing in closing here is to try to stay ahead of IDEM, or at least try to stay somewhat up with them. I'm very happy with the program that we have going with, Don spending a lot of time at it. You guys have been really good going out and cleaning and stuff. Something we really need to do long term. So, and I think you're going to see a big difference with your overflow issues and compliance with IDEM.
Most time they recommend every 5 years you should clean your lines. That would mean 1,200 feet a week for us.
See, we're a little behind.
We're a lot behind.
Like
I think what you're saying is we need a truck. We need
We've
a
never
back
had
truck.
this type of equipment. That's what Verlin said, told me the other day. He says, if I would have only had this 20 years ago, but he never had it. Same with the camera.
Just to
He
give
didn't
you
know
an
where
idea,
stuff ran. He had no chance of knowing when it's covered up with asphalt.
Right.
just to give you an idea, price-wise, a truck sitting there just like that's $430,000. You can get about a 5 to 8 year machine. Good machine you have for about 180, 190. So
Budget for it.
I've sold them up to 200 range, but you don't really see much above 200 when you come to that. So, something we need to look at long term. We're only paying $9,500 a month now for that one. We rented that one from the same people that we got the camera truck from, so they gave us a discount. Those vac trucks rent for about $13,500 a month.
Good deal.
It's just something that I will continue to work with Kevin and figure out if we can make it work or something.
Good report, thanks.
Good work, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kurt? We have been talking about a couple of houses on Schermeyer Street for the last few months, and we've sent letters out, and we're to the point where I think Kurt is ready to get the wrecking ball out.
Give me your 2 cents, Tim.
Well, I know Sharon contacted Tom Krukenberg about where the county stood with regard to the tax sale on one of the properties. Apparently, the other property, the taxes are current. It's being paid by a family member who apparently claims ownership. But the second property was originally owned by an LLC. It doesn't exist any longer. Apparently, that's gone up for tax sale 3 or 4 times. It's scheduled to go up again this year. There's about $6,600 in back taxes owed. But I think a good part of that are what the city has added by virtue of mowing the property over the last couple of years. So the problem you have is if nobody buys it at a tax sale, and I've got to look at the statute on this, but it seems to me that I recall that at some point the county can actually take possession and acquire it by default. If that happened, then if the county were willing to, the county could deed that over to the city. We would then own it. We could take it down. We're going to have additional costs in taking it down, but we would have a lot that we could sell and possibly recoup some of it. Now, I will tell you, I would be surprised if you're going to recoup everything. If we can't do that and we take it down, whoever buys it, chances are we're going to eat the cost of taking the building down. But it gets,
These are all the same place?
it gets rid of a blighted facility. The second property, where the family member is paying taxes, my guess is at some point she's going to seek court proceedings to quiet title in her name under a theory of adverse possession. At which point we would have recourse against that property owner, because if we take down the building, then we could go after the property. We'd literally probably have to go into court, get a judgment for that amount, and seek either an order for restitution to be made by the property owner or order the property sold in order for us to satisfy our judgment. So that's probably the process you're going to have to go through on each one of these. But I think at this point, is there a public hearing scheduled tonight, or, yeah, I think, was it advertised?
Midnight, no. Sharon probably get it.
For 3.5 weeks.
Okay. So do we have proof of the advertising of the, do you have?
I have it with me, but Sharon, we've got it in the office.
Okay.
So we have a public hearing at 7:30?
Well, we're supposed to, but based on what he said, we need to know which direction to go. Do we wait for Angelina on Aguia's house?
I think what you do is you have your,
Sale on this one?
well, you have a public hearing, and, you know, I think you can condemn the house, and you can give them notice to raise the property if they, and again, the problem that we have is we don't know who actually owns the one property at all.
Well, the houses, both houses were condemned February 22nd, and letters went out to everybody that we knew about.
Right.
On April 16th, I came in front of the Board of Works and asked for permission to issue an order for demolition. And once again, we sent out letters to everybody. The only response we got back was from Adam Aguia. And we were concerned that he may have a lien on the house because he was a bail bondsman at that time. And he had actually done the paperwork for bail bonds for Louis Aguia's purposes. But he said, no, he does not have a lien on the house. He said actually the company that would have had the lien was out of Cherubusco, or out of Columbia City, and we contacted Columbia City, and they said no, they have nothing. So the only person we have to contend with is that Angelina Aguilar, or whatever her last name is, from Rockford, Ohio. But we haven't heard from her in over a year. Because at one point in time, I talked to her on the phone personally, and she asked what the cost to demolish the house would be, and at that time we told her probably about $1,500.
To which she said, oh, I don't have that.
So we tried to contact her several other times and no luck.
I have a feeling if we demo both houses, you're not going to hear from her. I don't think she's going to come back.
The houses are going to go down eventually. They're condemned, and anybody who wants to claim the houses is going to have to strip them down to the foundation anyway.
Addresses was 710, and what was the second house said?
904, I can pull that one up too.
Was a public hearing that was advertised for the Board of Works for council.
I believe it was
Board of Works.
Right,
Okay.
that's where it should be.
Okay. So we're going to need
So you need
Motion to
yeah.
suspend the Board of Works meeting. Second.
a motion and a second to suspend the Board of Works meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to open up a public hearing, Board of Works. Second.
A motion and a second to open a public hearing in reference to 710 and 9, address again, 04 Schermeyer Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're now in a public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public to speak on behalf of either of these properties on Schermeyer Street? Seeing none, let's go back to our discussion, Kurt. Yeah, both of these.
This is 904.
This is 904. Which one is the one that has the Aguilera and that lady's name on it? This one.
904.
I think that the neighbors would be happy. I think that everyone would be happy if we go in there and just blast those puppies. What's that?
That's the roof.
How did you get that shot? I didn't get that shot.
I'm a little more agile than
You had you took your drone down there, didn't you?
No, I just got stupid one day.
You got one of those trees?
How long do you think it's been since somebody lived there?
Oh, it's been years. It's been years.
At least 904, they keep that place mowed. The other one is the one we've been mowing for 3, 4 years.
And there's any critter that crawls down there has been in the houses.
Okay, we're gonna have to keep
And kids, the neighbor kids have been in the houses. There's beer cans, graffiti, you name it. This house here on the inside is worse on the inside than it is on the outside. I wouldn't even go in. There was no place to step or walk.
Okay. Tim?
Well, if there's no other comment, Kurt, your recommendation is that the houses be demolished because they're unsafe structures.
Exactly. I do know, according to an email I have here from Tom Krugerberg, it is supposed to go up for sale again this year.
Nobody's going to buy it.
No one's going to buy it. He knows that too. If we go in and demolish it, he'll be forced to wipe the taxes clean. Because he ran into this when we got rid of the trailer park. There were a lot of taxes due on those trailers, and when we forced our order on it, and then Nick decided to just take them out, he was forced to wipe the taxes off each one.
And what I would suggest is if we do take it down, and I'll get a hold of Mark Burry about this, but to see if we can work with the county for the county to take the property and then deed it over to the city, and we'll dispose of it in order to recoup some of our costs. Probably not going to recoup everything, but if we got a vacant lot that somebody wants to redevelop, if they buy it for a couple thousand, they might be willing to do that.
Okay.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple individuals that have already approached us and would like the property.
So,
Great. We'll make them a deal.
After it's done, after
Yeah.
it's leveled.
And
So
I've had a couple for this one here as well. I was approached. Nobody wants it with the structures on.
If they'd mow it, that'd be great.
Yep.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to reopen Board of Works meeting?
Motion and a second to reopen our Board of Works meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so you're looking for a motion.
Motion to demolish these two houses at the addresses listed above and talked about in the public hearing of Board of Works. Second.
I have a motion and a second for demolition of the two homes on Schermeyer Street, 710 and 904. And I'd ask all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Kurt, I'm going to let Mayor Fetters know we just did our first two. Every time I see him, he asks me, how many taken down?
I just thought the shed fall down. He was asking how it was going.
Good. Thank you, Kurt. Thanks for all the work you've put in, and Bill, you too, on down there.
I had a lady walk out the other day, and I was on the golf cart, and thanked me for cleaning Shermar Street up. I almost had the big one. But she was serious, and I didn't know I had cleaned it up that much. But
While you're sitting there, I forwarded this email to you just a little bit ago. I don't know if you saw it, but we also had this evening Ryan Miller, or it's Miller Supply LLC. They own the building over here that was formerly the Eagles. And last week, during the wind and rain, roofing was blowing off of the roof down into Monroe Street, making a mess. So we sent Ryan Miller a letter and asked him to appear before the Board of Works this evening. Didn't hear anything from him, so yesterday I called Ryan and said, hey, did you get our letter? He goes, no, what letter? Well, I guess he's moved, although we think that the residence we sent it to is his mother, but obviously he's ignored it or something. And I said, well, we sent you a letter asking you to appear before the Board of Works. I said, what's your intentions with the building? And he said he has been having some people look at it to sell it. And I said, well, listen, I'm going to send you an email so you'll have my email address, and would like you to maybe reply back with some kind of intention. So it's too short a notice to expect you to be at this meeting since we're just talking verbally. So anyhow, he sent an email at 5:38 this afternoon. Ken, sorry this didn't get out to you sooner. After talking it over, we are actively looking to sell the building. It was looked at a few times today by some construction companies for purchase. I will give you an update on Monday of the status.
It was on Facebook this afternoon.
Was it?
Cameron Innovation, moving the location.
So, just
better be a roofing contractor.
Reporting that.
Better be a construction.
Yeah.
Because there's structural damage.
That's bad. Kurt, I will reply to him and ask for a current address where we can send him mail notices.
He actually wants to.
Yeah. Yep, he owns it.
Isn't it owned by an LLC?
Well,
Miller
Supply LLC?
Yeah. Okay, go online, look up the registered agent, and send that letter to that person as well.
Okay.
That's actual notice to the LLC.
Something's going to have to be done, because Corey collected a trash bag full of roofing materials just today.
is that the roof?
That's the roof. We had
Wow.
stuff
It's
blown
been that
off the
way
roof.
Where was that taken
Years.
from? Where did you take that from?
Corey's building,
Okay.
towards the back.
In other words, Corey supplied you that photo.
No,
No?
but something's going to have to be done here soon.
I've been in the building 2 years ago. It's been like that for a long time. It's bad.
Now
It's dangerous.
starting to
Stuff's
flow.
falling off the roof. We gotta do something.
Yep.
Do other property owners have any legal standing? Like their basements are
Yeah.
flooded because of this?
Corey has legal stand. He's already had his attorney involved, and they've been going back and
Steve
forth.
Cree owns the property on the other side.
Yeah. And I don't think Steve has a clue what's going on in the
Well-
other side.
Saul's on contract with Cree.
And behind. Okay, well, you and I together, Sharon, we'll stay on top of this with him again next week, maybe a new letter.
What's our action? What's our path of action on that, guys?
Something's got to happen. They've got to get up there and somehow seal that off. Seal everything that's loose down so it's not blowing off into traffic.
Yeah, I think we need to, can we
Slap
do
a
something
condemn-
about that? Because if somebody gets hurt and we know about it, I feel pretty bad.
Right.
Well, that's
Can you slap a condemnation order
That's what
on
I'm
it?
saying. I mean,
It's like this building that where the wall was
What?
falling
I
down.
can condemn
He
it
can-
right
he can
now.
send
I
a
walk
notice.
across the street, pop a placard on it and send a notice.
I mean, responsibly, if we don't do something like that, aren't we like accepting, we know this is a mess?
Yeah.
Exactly, and I've been, I'll be honest, I've been dragging my feet because I know that some people in town are interested in that building, and I was hoping by this point in time,
If it's condemned, they can't go back and fix it?
no, they can go back and
Right.
fix it. Condemnation just says you can't enter the building without my permission,
and nobody can enter the building until it's been fixed properly.
Remediated or taken down.
Well, wouldn't that be the step to take?
Right now,
So this-
recently, there's been people lined up to get into popular movies.
Right.
Rookie material blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Can we make a
that
motion
shouldn't
to
be
condemn it?
acceptable.
Don't see no reason why
I'd
not.
like to make a motion that you condemn this building. It's unsafe to the public.
And that may speed up his
It needs to happen.
eagerness to accept an offer.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second for you to go ahead and condemn the building. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, we have, gentleman here from MKM, Corey, and, Zach. Thank you, Zach. If I can remember Corey, come on up. We've been meeting with these gentlemen here, a group of us from Greater Decatur, in reference to the loft apartments down the street here, and how we're going to finish out our first floor portion. And we've pretty much got things nailed down, and the next thing would be to put it out to bid to a contractor to actually do the work. A lot of the work has already kind of been roughed in as far as from Wygand, who's doing the work for Biggs, as far as rough in for the heating and water lines and whatever. So a lot of this is just kind of finishing it off. So you can see on the second page there kind of how we got it set up to look when it's all completed.
They cleaned off all those bricks. Are we going to cover it back up?
Some of them. Not all of them.
Craig, you're talking about behind the sink there.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Behind the sink.
You got two,
Right here, Craig, is where you were kind of referring, I think.
Oh, yeah.
right behind that, there's a flue, there's a HVAC, there's also another,
Oh, is that the wall that all the utilities are on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we would like to do tonight is authorize the Board of Works, or have the Board of Works authorize this group, along with MKM, to proceed with putting this out to bid. Biggs is coming down the home stretch and actually getting ready to start taking names for applicants of tenants. The tenants will be reviewed in June, and some of them will move in sometime probably late July. And once they're done, then they would like us to begin with our portion. So we need to get this put out to bid so that we have the price. I'm hopeful that Wygand would come in and be the low bid, since they're already there, they're already familiar with everything. I would have to think they might kind of have a hand up in all of this. You guys have any comments? Go ahead, Zach.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe not much comment. Just this, late last week, I was informed by two other clients that the state had upped the minimum dollar value for public bidding requirements for public works projects. I don't know if that's true, from $150,000 to $250,000.
Ooh, we haven't heard that.
So
Is that impending your current legislation? It was just enacted?
I don't know, but this project's probably right on the threshold where that would mean the world to it, because if it moves
Oh,
out of
gosh, yeah.
bid into competitive bid, we can have a smaller set of bidders and also remove the state requirements for public bonding, and it saves some money.
A lot of
So
money.
It's real money. So
Yeah.
it doesn't change our scope of work or our documents one bit.
Okay.
But it's probably something that's worth doing some quick due diligence.
I will look. I think there was legislation enacted that increased it, but I don't know that it was effective immediately. I think it goes into effect July 1, which could still,
I agree. I think that's accurate. And then the question is, should we wait?
yeah.
So
Well, what's your thoughts? Should we wait?
it probably wouldn't hurt, because the bidding time wouldn't take as much time in terms of how long we took the bid. And it could be some, a project this size, it could be a decent amount of money.
Absolutely.
I'll get an answer
If
for
not,
you.
we're still prepared to do public bid scenarios, so it won't slow us down one bit, but if that would benefit the project, it might be something to consider.
Just so everybody remembers, like, when this all came about, so Greater Decatur team split into two groups, one focused on hand, and then one focused on the loss. Multiple meetings, Greg Kitson, Clint Humbleton, been part of this. Looking at this space, kind of rearranging it, kind of on the, when you look at the diagram, you got what we call kind of the wet space. You've got the gallery space, and you have the presentation space. The front part of that is the storefront. That's really the layout of the design. We've gone through color concepts, we've gone through the wall color, we've looked at the ceiling color, we've looked at the brick options. The ceiling that was up there was taken down and refurbished and will be repainted by processing everything else the Wagon's doing already. That's really how this all came to fruition.
Do we need to...
Yep, go ahead.
Out in front of this,
Recommend a council.
Sprinkler, water thing, is that temporary, permanent?
that's a big red thing that just went in there. Yeah, it's all right there.
The what?
Sprinkler.
Permanent?
It's such a big building, that that's like now part of the beauty of the space.
Okay.
See how-
Tells whether the fire protection is on or off.
Put it there or recess it into the building.
Okay.
Not the prettiest thing.
So will
Yeah.
everybody else.
We don't have a choice.
Hmm?
Can you build a sculpture around it?
Yeah.
Do you need a motion, Ken?
Yeah.
I'd make a motion that we allow,
Tim to look into the...
Ken to decide and go through this new law change with Tim and be able to sign to go ahead and approve this drawings, whatever the timing is best for the city of Decatur. I'll second that.
Motion and a second for me to go ahead and sign putting this out to bid, but before we do, again, we're going to do our... Unless we decide...
Competitive
Wait.
bidding is not necessary because of the change in law.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, consultation to hit.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you for...
You want this back?
I want to comment while they're here that they've been very pleasant to work with, been very accommodating to us. So, yeah, thank you.
Gray or white? Or gray?
Yeah, gray or white.
Or darker gray?
Last thing is, Cam is, in this area of the lofts, we have a young lady named Brielle Adams that we would like to hire as a part-time person. Question is how we hire her, whether as a contract employee or as a city employee. And this girl, Cam, kind of explain what all she would be in charge of.
You gotta go back years to what this whole space is about. Creative Engagement Center is the generic name for it, but the idea that, you know, we're bringing the artwork, the artist to the street. This is a public space that the city now is leasing, and the idea that there's going to be activities that are going on in there, right? There are part of the, we had met, and this is part of the ongoing conversation, we met with Kevin Biggs, was it 2 weeks ago? Just about the need for additional programming, their desire to have entrepreneurial classes for the tenants, the residents that are there.
Their housing application for tax credits included that kind of entrepreneurial training would go on the first floor. So we're honoring that they promised in their application.
There have already been several individuals who have contacted you wanting to hold events since the space is not even built yet. Right? So we have this nice space, you see all these things there, but it's like, okay, who's going to manage this, what's going on in the interior? When we met with the pending art commission, all the different participants, they were all unanimous, adamant that there needed to be an individual to help coordinate these efforts, and that it should be separate, at least now, from an arts commission, so that things can get moving in the right direction. And during that meeting, this Brielle Adams was in attendance, and she actually approached you afterwards with her resume. And so she is...
And a to-do list of visions that she had for the community and for what that first floor space could be.
So as you go back to the same committee, we started thinking about, okay, how do we do this? And this idea is, yes, as a director, for lack of a better term, Creative Engagement Center, probably task one will be to name the space. But so yes, Arts Commission, it's not funded, it's not up and running in time for when this needs to happen. And as you pointed out, we're talking about construction being done in July. Now this construction would not be done until October, but things need to be happening, moving in time for there. So we're looking for someone who's knowledgeable, motivated, interested, affordable, and this seems to be Brielle.
She's right now a second year college student right now?
Yeah,
at St. Francis?
Be a junior
in the arts.
Brielle. But here's the thought. So if we look at a minimum expectation of 5 hours a week, a maximum of 50 a month. Okay, there's flexibility if she's a student, but to be able to work on these things and to be there to allow access to the space, to coordinate not just the events, but also perhaps volunteers. But looking at if we did $12 an hour, my thought would be to actually hire her as a part-time employee of the city. What that means, right, would be at $600 a month maximum, assuming she did a maximum of 50 hours a week. If she's an employee, that means also we have to do payroll tax, the 7.65%. But all in for the rest of the year, we'd be looking at, if maximum, assuming she works 50 hours a month, we'd be looking at $4,500 commitment through the end of the year to get us through this, what I think is a very crucial spot.
Those doors are going to open in September, October-ish, and we need art on the walls, programming happening, office hours. What are the rules for being in the space and using the space? Is it a monthly fee? I mean, there's all these things need to be happening when the doors open in the fall.
So that's...
Now, at the Board of Works meeting, I guess, when Phyllis and I talked this afternoon, we decided that at the Board of Works meeting, we would make the decision whether or not to recommend the council to hire this person. And then at the council meeting, we'll discuss this again and if we decide to go ahead and hire, where we would pay the funds from, what account. So for now, I'll just be looking for a recommendation from the Board of Works to take the council to move forward with such.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to move forward, and we'll discuss this again in the next meeting. About 2 minutes. Yeah. So, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing I have on the agenda for this evening from the Board of Works is whether or not the Board of Works members have given any thought as to pay raise for next year. If you have any recommendations to council, you don't have to, but it was something I wanted to ask you. We will discuss this again in the next meeting. As for whether a percentage or a flat rate, Phyllis emailed out what we've done. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. In the past, it's been percentages most years, but we have a few different times done a flat rate across the board. So for now, do you have any?
I would recommend a percentage.
Okay.
And truthfully, I would match the county.
Okay. I will make note of that in the next meeting from Bill. What is it? County's doing what, 3?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Okay.
I know 5.
It was a total of 5 for the whole budget.
You?
Raise salaries, 5% for the raise, or for the whole budget.
Yeah, and that's because they just did their study as to how their employees are being paid.
It's 3 with a maximum of 2.
We may want to just kind of look into that a little bit more before we would
Well,
It's
I
just a
think...
suggestion. Yeah.
I think they did, like Jeremy said, they did a study and they found that they were relatively low.
Right.
I can
Well, really-
I'll retract that.
It's just a suggestion anyway.
Just so you know, Board of Works sets the salaries for police and fire. Council does it for everybody else,
Right.
so. If you
But I
guys
think,
recommend something
I
different.
guess what she's saying then is, are we kind of in favor of extending to police and fire whatever is decided with council for the rest of the employees? Like if council goes with 3% for the rest of the employees, is that what we want to do with police and fire?
I think, I know the police has to be addressed because of losing, we've lost five officers now, and to Fort Wayne, and I think we need to really consider and address that. Because like I said last week, I don't think we need to be I don't think we need to be a training city that we're training officers to do lateral moves. I don't like that concept.
I neither.
So, I think police and fire need to be addressed separately.
Well, that's what Phyllis is asking, right?
Yeah.
How soon do you need how soon do you need a recommendation?
If you guys could come up with some kind of max that you don't want to go above, I guess, have you looked at any of that? What you don't, do you have a max that you don't want to go over?
I don't think we want to go over a couple thousand a year on the first year with police officers. As far as their pay,
Well, Lonnie, what's the base salary for patrolman right now? Do you?
43, I think.
Oh, look at there, that's Bluffton.
Yeah.
That, and we're at that.
Yeah.
So that's more than that.
We're at 45.
Mm-hmm, 49, 250. So, I think can we study on this a little bit longer? I wasn't sure, wasn't aware about the police fire.
Is the next meeting okay or
I got
not?
some ideas here.
Yeah, but we really need to make a decision because we got to start the budget.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, that I kind of was not familiar with what I needed out of you tonight, so. With that, I'm done with the Board of Works agenda. We ran a couple minutes over. We had a lot on the agenda tonight. So I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the Board of Works meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.